Welcome to Howard's Opinion, the only podcast where you get the unfiltered truth about the world of sports. I'm your host, Howard, and we're excited to dive into another thrilling episode. Today, we're talking football, folks. The NFL is always full of surprises, and this season is shaping up to be one for the books. We've got a few stories to get through, but let's start with the Detroit Lions. They're facing a bit of a crisis with their offense, as they might be without their star player due to an injury. But that's not all. They're also dealing with the aftermath of losing their former offensive coordinator Ben Johnson to the Chicago Bears. Yes, you heard that right. Johnson, the mastermind behind the Lions' high-powered offense, has jumped ship to become the head coach of their division rivals. Now, I know what you're thinking, Howard. Why would he do that? Well, let me tell you, it's all about the Benjamins, baby. Johnson signed a whopping 5-year contract worth $65 million with the Bears. That's right, he's now one of the highest-paid coaches in the NFL. But was it the right move? Only time will tell. The Lions, on the other hand, are scrambling to find their footing without Johnson. They're currently dealing with an injury to their star player, and their offense is looking a bit stagnant. Can they bounce back from this setback, or will they struggle to find their rhythm without Johnson at the helm? We'll be discussing all this and more throughout the episode, including some interesting insights into Johnson's career trajectory and what this means for the Bears' future. So, sit back, relax, and get ready for some lively debate and analysis. And speaking of debate, we've got a great show lined up for you today, with some fantastic guests and thought-provoking topics. We'll be exploring the world of sports from every angle, so you won't want to miss it. We'll be right back with more fascinating sports news on Howard's Opinion. Welcome back to Howard's Opinion, folks. We're diving into the world of football, where the drama is always unfolding, both on and off the field. Tonight, all eyes are on the Vikings as they face off against the Falcons in what promises to be an electrifying matchup on Sunday Night Football. But before we get into the nitty-gritty of the game itself, let's talk about some of the intriguing storylines that are making headlines. First off, we have J.J. McCarthy, the Vikings' young quarterback who made a stunning debut last week with a fourth-quarter comeback for the ages. This kid has got skills, folks, and he's looking to prove himself once again in front of his home crowd at U.S. Bank Stadium. But he's not the only one with something to prove. Michael Penix Jr., the Falcons' quarterback, is also looking to make a statement after being drafted just 2 picks ahead of McCarthy last year. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, Howard, what about the kicking situation in Atlanta? Well, let me tell you, it's getting interesting. The Falcons have brought in Michael Penix Jr.'s former teammate, Kyle Hamilton. No, wait, that's not right. They've actually got a new kicker, Romo. No, not Tony Romo, but rather Michael Romo, who used to play for the Vikings. This guy's got some experience under his belt, having made 11 out of 12 field goals last season, so it'll be worth watching to see how he performs against his former team. But here's the thing, the real story might not even be about the game itself, but rather about what happens after it. There are rumors swirling that the Falcons might be considering cutting ties with their current kicker, Koo, who had a dismal season last year. Could this be the end of an era in Atlanta? Only time will tell. As we get ready to kick off, pun intended, I want to hear from you, our listeners. Who do you think is going to come out on top tonight? Are you Team Vikings or Team Falcons? Let us know by giving us a shout-out on social media using the hashtag Howard's Opinion. And speaking of opinions, we've got plenty more where that came from. Stay tuned for our final story of the day, right here on Howard's Opinion. Speaking of perseverance and determination, welcome back to the show, folks. We're closing out today's episode of Howard's Opinion with a story that I believe embodies the very essence of what it means to be a champion. You've heard me talk about athletes who overcome incredible obstacles to achieve greatness, but the tale of Molly Caudery, a British pole vaulter, is truly one for the ages. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, pole vaulting? That's not exactly the most high-profile sport out there. But trust me, this young woman's journey is an inspiration to anyone who's ever faced adversity and come out on top. As she so eloquently put it, the ups and downs are inevitable, but I really do think I'm in a good place. Ah, the humility of a true champion. Caudery's story is one of trials and tribulations, of setbacks and triumphs. She's had to deal with minor calf injuries, missed competitions, and the stress of traveling with her poles. Yes, you heard that right, folks. This athlete has to transport her equipment all over the world, often facing logistical nightmares and curious stares from airport onlookers. But she perseveres, driven by a fierce determination to succeed. And succeed she has. Despite finishing fifth at the last World Championships in 2023, Caudery is now poised to make a strong comeback in Tokyo. With a personal best of 4.92 m, she's gunning for a medal and potentially even breaking her own British record. As she said, "I do think there's more I can jump. I know I can jump higher." The confidence, the grit, it's all there, folks. But what really resonates with me about Caudery's story is her willingness to learn from her mistakes. She spoke candidly about her devastating experience at the Olympic qualifying rounds in Paris last year, where she failed to register a height and missed out on the final. It's a hard lesson to swallow, but one that she's clearly taken to heart. As we wrap up today's episode, I want to leave you with Caudery's parting words. "I'll just give it everything." Ah, the simplicity and beauty of that statement. In a world where excuses are easy to come by, this young athlete reminds us that sometimes it's just about digging deep, being brave, and giving it our all. That's all for today's Howard's Opinion. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, these are some of my humble thoughts. Keep pushing boundaries, keep striving for greatness, and always, always give it your all.